Hello and good day. Well, November is almost here, or is here, and it's telling us that the year 2019 is coming to an end. Snowbirds have gone already, or are about to leave, like the geese and the duck. They go to the south to pass the better winter. But November is also a very special month. It's the month that we are asked to think of those who have passed on. And the first words that come to my mind when I think of November, I think of the 11th of November, when we say, lest we forget. Let's not forget. We are called by this date, on the 11th of November, to think of all those who have given their life in the service of their country in view of bringing peace, freedom to people of other countries. For over a century we have been celebrating this day, and we are always remembering those who give their life up for the service of their country. And their country means their fellow people, in view that we create and we keep the peace and freedom of all peoples. So I think it's a good day that to remember these people, but also it's a good month to remember those who have passed on in our families. We have all experienced death in our family, that is for sure. Be it an uncle, an aunt, a parent, and a spouse, or even a friend that has passed on. And it's so funny when we greet one another at a funeral, we always say, oh, my sympathies and my prayers are with you, and all that stuff. It's always full of emotion, it's always full of sadness, and yet joy, especially if the person had been suffering for some time. So lest we forget, do we forget those who have died? We say we're going to pray for them, but do we really pray for them? Or are just words that come to our mouths as an automatic thing? And so we offer our sympathies, yes. Oh, we'll remember them, we'll pray for him, and he's gone to a better world. That is so true. But we must not forget them. Forget our mourning and forget the person who has passed on. And so the month of November for the church, we put it aside to help us to remind ourselves of those who have passed on and not to forget them, lest we forget. It's sometimes these people that we have accompanied up to their death and they have gone, we have that sadness within us, sudden or after a long illness. And speaking about long illness, let us think of those who are dying, like we say. Those who are going through the process of becoming weaker physically, taken over by the illness that has taken over their body. And let's use the word we don't like to hear, cancer. We accompany these people. But today there's a kind of a new trend that is entering into our world. And we call it medical assistance in dying. I thought the medical field was to bring life, to save life, to help people to live. But today, once they start suffering, once we see that the end is near, we want to determine, we want to control that, and we want to bring an end to it. And so the person dies, not naturally, but one that is accompanied by medication. Medical assistant in dying. Contradiction in term. And perhaps we in our own minds, we do have even that idea that perhaps that's the way I should go. I don't want to see I don't want my children to see me suffer. I don't want to see them in my last days. And so, isn't it an opportunity for those that we accompany in the last days of our life to look at our own lives, to look at only lies in relationship to the person who is dying, but our relationship with one another. Because sometimes the dying person brings the family together, being friends together, because relationships had been broken. And this time of mourning is a time of really reflection, or as we walk towards death, as we're letting go the person, as we are allowing, if we want, that person to go to that other world that we say, to a better place, like we always say. And then do we forget them? Do we forget them? Oh, this person was so good. Oh, this person did so many good things. She was always helping here, and she was such a nice person. And do we let that die? Do we let that person die? Or do we try to keep what she has given us? What she has shown us, or that he or she shown us, and what that person has helped us to understand in life? Do we carry that with us and try to bring it in our own lives? Giving that person who has passed away a form of resurrection, of new life through me, through what I have learned from that other person. It's not a page that I turn in my history, but ways that I see my future. So we look at those who have passed on. Oh, really nice person, and that. Is that all we say of that person? Is that all we do of that with that person? Letting the person go, but not letting their thoughts, their ideas, and their many, many gestures that they did in view of helping us, encouraging us to live our lives. And that's really for us to look at. How do we see our departures? And some of them nowadays, we don't even have a funeral. We do go straight to the grave. Where is our respect of those who have passed on? Are we trying to forget them? Are we trying to set them aside? Yeah, lest we forget. We are forgetting our dead. We are forgetting that there are rituals that we have to do in our lives to say goodbye, to mourn a death, to let them go in peace. We do need funerals. We do need more than grave sites, where sometimes friends of that person is not even invited, not even told. They too have to mourn the death of their friend, of their old friend. So these are a few thoughts that I wanted to bring. Remembrance Day, our dead, and how do we accompany those who are dying, letting them go peacefully to the end of their road, not cutting it short. Also in the month of November, on the 26th, we'll be celebrating the 150th anniversary of the Missionaries of Africa and the Sisters of Our Lady of Africa, or White Fathers, White Sisters, as we celebrate 150 years of our foundation, the beginning of this missionary movement that came from North Africa and went through the whole continent of Africa to bring the good news. And today continues to be brought to these people who are searching, seeking, hoping to find a new way, a new outlook, a new life in Christ. So on the 26th of November, you are invited to come and join us as we celebrate this 150th anniversary at the cathedral here in Prince Albert at 7 o'clock in the evening. We'll have a celebration of thanksgiving, thanking God for us, helping us accomplish this mission to date, and how we wish to continue it in the future. So wishing you all a good month, happy days, and God bless.